Hello there, welcome to another Ghost Makers Workshop. This evening I'm just going to be showing you a quick mounting video on the R10. I know these had a few problems when they first come out, but if anybody's out there wondering whether they're sorted or not, this is pellet on pellet, reliable. One thing I did have to change, they had a bad batch of seals or something. I had to change the seal on the bottle because it was losing pressure. I phoned BSA and they literally sent the seal direct to me, and I changed that, and it has been spot on, absolutely spot on. It's had 1500 shots through it, I've not had a single problem. Magazine, indexing, everything, all the things that were problems down the line before, absolutely spot on, no clipping. I use a BSA silencer on this, shooting JSB 452s, and it's like I say, it's pellet on pellet out of 40 yards, you know, clover leaf, 1 hole groups, absolutely fantastic. Incidentally, I'm using a Hawk 4x12x40. I'm using quite a low objective lens size so that I can get my line of sight, the centre of the scope, as close as possible to the centre of the barrel, which is making it very forgiving trajectory wise. But pretty much bang on. I aim bang on from 10 right out to about 47 yards, I think. No point in saying 47 yards, you might as well call it 50. It's the so little deviation with it that I'd like to say pretty much aim bang on when I'm shooting rabbits. Anyway, that's enough about that. I don't want to ramble on too much. If anybody out there has got any worries about buying one of these, if you're buying a new gun now, there may be the odd one flying about that didn't go back to the factory for whatever reason. But I know BSA standing by the products and sorting things out for people, so you know, if you have bought one second hand, don't give up hope, because they are fantastic service wise. If you have your pod set right back there, what happens is the slightest little bit of movement, if you imagine this is your gun and the tip end is the end of your gun, if you have your pod back here, the fulcrum quite a way back, tiniest little bit of movement here and the barrel moves miles, and down 50 metres away, that tiny little bit of movement equates to quite a distance. You have the pod as close to the tip as possible. The same little bit of movement doesn't move this as far. You know, look, a little bit of movement. Look how far that's going, a little bit of movement. You know, this end's tiny, only moving a tiny little bit. See you, Matt. Take care, mate. So, when you're putting a pod on, or when you're bench resting or shooting off a bag or whatever, try and shoot as far down the gun. Rest as far down the gun as you can, and any tiny shooter error movement that you do make won't be exaggerated. You know, it'll be kept as limited. Right, this is the pod I was referring to. It's a tip and tilt Harris bipod. It will tilt from side to side. You don't have to have this version, the other version's fine, but all I'm saying is if you use this one and you do come onto a slightly unlevel ground, you know, the pod will help you, whereas if you're on uneven ground and you've got the stiff one with this fitted like this, it may twist the bottle slightly. I don't think it would twist it enough to make any difference, but just for my peace of mind, this is the one that I like to use. I got this one from Deben.com. I get a lot of my stuff from Deben. I think they're pretty good. So I mean, if anybody's looking for an online store, I mean, there's loads out there, ratings and everything, but Deben, brilliant. They've been excellent. There's a couple of bits that I've needed that were finding very difficult to get anywhere, and they managed to source the bits for me, and you know, went to the bother of phoning me up and letting me know that they could get them and so on. So fair play to them for that, and for that reason I do use them for anything that I can get from them rather than go elsewhere. So on this pod, when you buy it, it comes with your standard little linkage there, which goes through here and then clips on your gun stud, and then there's a little screw which pulls this tight. And take that out. It just comes out. There's no, you haven't got to break anything. It's just on a little key ring loop. Undo that. Take that out because you don't need that. You need to decide which way you want your legs to fold. My own personal preference on that, excuse me, I've got a terrible cold at the moment. My own personal preference on that is to have the legs fold back towards me so that I'm not sending a lot of weight down the gun and making the gun's balance go off, because this does hold for standards. If you see in my hunting diary, the first one I did, I pulled the stander off about 30 yards, 35 yards with this, and I've shot a lot of things sailing with it since. It's so forgiving and holds so nicely. So yeah, so by putting the pod down, I mean, it's making it very, very good for shooting your pod, but it will upset the balance of the gun slightly. So for that reason, I have the legs folding back towards me. Some people prefer it that way, like that, and have the legs forward. It's smarter and smarter. It doesn't really matter. Okay, like I say, that's just personal preference. Right, so I've already explained the reasons for wanting to get the pod as far down the gun as possible, and that is the reason for mounting it on the bottle. Right, this, if you've got a tip and tilt, it doesn't matter 100% whether you get this 100% upright. Right. Right, I think that's it. Right, there we have a bubble. Right, there's a thing called a line level which you can get from most DIY shops. Usually has a bit of plastic around it. On the buns I get, which are from a company called Blue Spot Tools or Blue Point Tools, they come in a little yellow casing. They're about 33p each. You can stick them on your scopes, you can stick them on your gun, wherever. I always have some handy for doing jobs like this. You can put one on the trigger guard, which is flat on here, and you can get your gun level. Right, now I know that gun's 100% level. Put the other one on here. My heart goes out to anybody who's got a cold at the moment. I hate cold. Oh. Right, so that's that. I really do recommend using 3. This is standard. I'd say that was probably 10-inch, 10 maybe 12-inch zip tie. Quite a decent strong one. You don't want to use a lightweight zip tie for this. This would be used for industrial, electronic cabling, or something along those lines. Now what I've done, you can feed it through this part. Oh, I should mention as well, on the Harris pod or the Deben pod, in here there's a rubbery felt thing which is anti-slip. It's also anti-scratch. The plastic zip tie isn't going to scratch your buddy bottle, and now nor is the pod, because it comes already with, damn that moved, I'm trying to do this without covering up what I'm doing so much. Just let that slip. What I'll do, I'll put this